Look, I know I'm probably late on this because Halloween is past, as the time of me doing this voice recording, it's about, 1 day ago. I tried to get this done the day of, but things came up and I couldn't. So consider this a bit of I have absolutely no idea what the hell's going to happen the next day, so, okay, I'm just going to try to do it as best I can. That's what we're doing. Skip here if you don't want to get all of the mumbo-jumbo of the story and plot and all that if you already know it, or you just don't want to spoil yourself. Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie point-and-click horror game made by a man named Scott Cawthon. Believe it or not, this is not one of the first games he made. In fact, it's actually a later game he made. The first couple games he made were a part of a Chipper and Sons series. The only reason he moved to FNAF was because, well, I'm pretty sure the gameplay footage in front of you speaks for itself, but those things are creepy, even more so when playing it, I don't know, in the dark. I mean, it wasn't meant to be a horror game. Chipper and Sons were meant to be just a normal, calm, woodchucking experience, I guess. I never played it myself, but I know for a fact it wasn't meant to be a horror game. And when Scott was criticized by this, instead of just taking everything and throwing it all out, he decided to then flip it on its head and make it into a fully fledged horror game. Look, if you accidentally can make things nightmares, why not actually capitalize on it? And that's what Scott did. And thus, FNAF, or Five Nights at Freddy's, was released on August 8th of 2014. Holy crap, I was 14 when this game came out. I feel so old. I mean, seriously, we're like 8 games into the franchise and however many books. I mean, we've got the Silver Eyes books, the one-off story books. I think it's 6 books, or maybe 8 in the making. I don't know. I do know we have we definitely have 5 books, because 5 nights, you kind of got to do that, but I think there's more books about to be planned, and not to mention Security Breach on the horizon, which is going to be the 8th game, because let's see, we had up to FNAF 4, we had Sister Location, which is 6. Technically, FNAF VR exists, and I mean, it's more or less a rehash of everything else, sort of. Then FNAF AR Help Wanted exists. Then we also had Pizzeria Simulator, and now we have Security Breach on the horizon. We were hoping it was going to be released by Halloween, but things didn't quite pan out that way. Sad to say, but that probably means he's working out the kinks. Anyways, moving on. Five Nights at Freddy's is a point-and-click horror game where you're a security guard in a Chuck E. Cheese style establishment, and there are killer animatronics ready to come and rip your face off and stuff you inside one of their suits, making you one of them. But there's more to it than that. Oh, there's more to it than just that. Now, for the sake of this review, I'm going to be reviewing the Xbox One version because I'm a cheap ass and Game Pass has it for free, so that's why this review even exists. I'm cheap. What have we learned today? So, for the sake of the fact that you're not going to see the whole PC setup, it kind of runs at a bit of a slower frame, maybe. I'm not sure if you guys notice it, but hey, it's what happens. Anyways, moving on. The story starts as you are a night guard in a Chuck E. Cheese style establishment. You got the phone guy telling you that, hey, sorry to mention this, and we probably didn't tell you this on, I guess, when you were signing your papers to work for us or whatnot, but these things kind of get a little weird at night. Just try not to let them get to your office. As the night guard, it is your job to monitor the cameras to make sure that these things cannot get in your office, because if you get into your office, if they get in your office, good lord, it's not going to be good. You're going to be shoved into a suit, your eyeballs are going to pop out, and you're going to be deadified, mummified, decaying inside a Chuck E. Cheese style. So you know what, on that topic, I feel like that's the really worst way to die. Imagine, just you're a night guard at Chuck E. Cheese, right? And, you heard people getting murdered, you heard people getting shot, stabbed, burned, torched, drowning, all that. And the way you die is by being stuffed into a suit. Yeah, I think at that point, only death can bring honor to me. Anyways, you progress from night to night, with things obviously getting difficult throughout each night, to the point where it might almost be near impossible if you're not that dexterous. And trust me, it's a whole different story when playing with a controller than it is with a keyboard and mouse. Or I guess just a mouse. You don't really use your keyboard. So, moving on. The whole story is that 5 kids were brutally murdered in the Chuck E. Cheese style establishment. Their bodies went missing and were never found. And now all of a sudden that night, the animatronics seem to get up and walk around, and because they see you as somebody that might not be one of their own, you gotta go. So as a night guard, you must use the cameras and the doors on the sides to protect yourself. But don't think you can just shut the doors and watch them all night long. Oh no, Scott thought ahead of that one. And so you got a little power meter down in that bottom left corner of yours. Once that power runs out, the lights go off, the doors come up, the camera's inactive forever, and it's just all about sitting there and either waiting for that clock to roll over to the beautiful 6 a.m., or if you're unfortunate, Freddy gets you. You have 4 main animatronics. We have Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. They all work mostly similar, but with some varying differences. Bonnie and Chica are the first ones to always go off of the stage and move around the entirety of the establishment, with Bonnie being able to quite literally instant transmit from the dining area all the way to your office door. I'm not even joking though. It's not funny. At one point, he literally just went from the stage to my office door and didn't move for damn near the entirety of the night and just stood there. Need I remind you, the doors still drain power. If he's standing there and he doesn't move, my power is going to constantly drain, and it's only a matter of time before the lights go off and the doors come up, and I'm just at the mercy of whatever comes first. Chica, on the other hand, moves about one door or one room next to wherever it is her current location. So if she's in the dining area, unlike Bonnie, she'll just go to the next room and just make her way toward my door. Foxy's a little aggressive guy. I mean, he spends his time more or less in Pirate Cove, but once he's gone, he's going to Sonic the Hedgehog, Naruto, run down the hallway and try to get in. If you block him, he'll just bang on your door and go back to Pirate's Cove, but don't think that you're safe when that happens. Oh no, every time he runs down and bangs on that door, you're gonna lose a little more power each and every time. I think there was you lose 1% the first time, and then afterward the increment increases by 3. I think it's that. If not, it might be more or it could be less. Either way, you kind of want to monitor him by keeping an eye on the cams. That's the only way to keep him from advancing. Freddy, on the other hand, where do I begin with him? For starters, he doesn't become active, technically speaking, till night 3. Now, technically, night 4 is when he becomes more noticeably active because he'll actually get off the stage. However, by the end of night 3, that's when he actually starts moving. Night 4 and onward, he actually starts being a big problem. See, the thing is, unlike Bonnie or Chica, when Chica gets to your door and you block her with it, she'll automatically reset back to the dining area and go from each individual room back to your office. Bonnie can just teleport anywhere, but he'll go away. Freddy, on the other hand, he moves like Chica, he moves one room every couple seconds to advance. The problem with this is that once he's next to your office, if you manage to block him and he doesn't just outright murderize you, he'll reset back to the hallway and come back for round 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. So once Freddy starts moving, you kind of want to keep an eye on him to keep him from moving closer, because once he's there, he's not leaving. He is adamant about making sure your esophagus is ripped out and you're there to watch. So that's just about the gist of all the animatronics. As for the nights, I think the nights are 10 minutes each, maybe. It's just more or less meant to be a bit of I've lost track of time. I don't know how long this hour has been. How come I'm still at 3 a.m. when I thought I should be at 5 a.m. by now? And even more so, things get more tense because as every night progresses, the amount of power you lose per second is increased. And I think at one point, by the time you get to night 6, the power that you lose, I think, is nearly doubled per second. So you've got to basically learn how to if you're good at multitasking, you'll be able to breeze through this game. But if you are not dexterous and you are not good at multitasking and keeping your eye and other useful senses on multiple things at once, you're going to have a real bad time. but it's really fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. The scares, I mean, it's a jump scare heavy game, but FNAF does this thing with sound. Beautiful sound design. I'm not even joking. I mean, jump scares alone, I mean, yes, you're anticipating a jump scare. Once you see they start moving, you're in the back of your head, you're wondering, like, okay, I know they're out there. If they get close to me, it's going to be a loud noise, and I'm going to get spooked. But it's the anticipation of leading up to it. Like, I guess if I were to put it into perspective, like, ever get that feeling when, well, I'm pretty sure most of us ever get that feeling when you were younger, and I don't know, like, you got in trouble at school and they called your parents. I mean, you know you're in trouble. Like, nothing bad has happened to you yet. You haven't gotten in trouble, but it's just the anticipation of wondering when you're going to be in trouble when you get home, and what exactly is going to happen. So FNAF kind of does that with sound design. There's moments where Foxy starts doing this little dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, like at random times in the night. There's random moments where like a pipe organ player thing might start playing. You can hear the animatronics quite literally as they get closer to your door. I think at one point, if Freddy gets into the kitchen, since the kitchen doesn't have an actual camera view, he actually starts playing the song that normally plays when the lights go out. Granted, you're not dead if he does that in the kitchen. I mean, if it's blackout phase and he's next to you and he starts playing that music, then yeah, you better hope the time rolls over. But as far as him going in the kitchen, even when you're not on the cams, the fact that the kitchen is close to your office, you can hear it. Same with Chica. If Chica's on the kitchen camera, you can hear her just rustling through pans and pots and utensils. It's the eerie sounds, the silence, the sort of like hum of electricity, the power of the fan that's in your office. All of those sounds combined make for a truly horrifying experience. And FNAF takes that and just magnifies it, and it does it so beautifully. Again, you know there's a jump scare coming. You know that there's a scare. But it's the fact that the sounds, you're not exactly in danger yet, but the fact that you're listening out and you're so akin to the different sounds to try to track where they are. The camera can only do but so much. It's your ears that's really going to be helpful. Even more so for FNAF 4, but we'll get on that when I get to that game, which is going to be quite a while, I think. But even then, just listening to those sounds. I think, like, here, let me see if I can get some ambience for you. To take a listen to this.
Dum 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 dum.
Now be honest, you probably felt tense, didn't you? Because I never put at the beginning that there was going to be a jump scare warning. I never said I wasn't going to put one in there. So be honest, did you honestly think I was going to put a jump scare in there? I mean, again, the sounds, that's what FNAF does. You don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, just that it happens. If you're not good enough. But even if it never happens, it's still just that anxiety feel. And it's not a bad type of anxiety, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's kind of like that good one, like, okay, I gotta make sure I watch this, I gotta make sure I gotta make sure Foxy's still at Pirate Cove, I gotta make sure Freddy's still on the stage, doesn't advance forward, I gotta keep an eye on where Bonnie is, I gotta know where Chica is at all times. That, it's that sort of like, that anxiety to make you think that if something were to go wrong, you are on it just like that. And FNAF does that so beautifully. Now, no game is without its kinks, alright? I may praise the game, but there's quite a bit of downsides to it. So I guess how should I do this? Well, I guess for starters, 420 mode. And if anybody hates me and have just clicked off the video, I am sorry that's one of the things I don't really like. Now, many people can beat 420 mode. It's not, I don't want to say it's not that hard, because it was definitely meant to be a challenge for skilled Five Nights at Freddy's players. But I mean, for I guess the average Joe or so, or a casual experience, that custom night 420 mode is not for the faint of heart. I mean, yeah, it's for the added challenge. I more or less is just like, 420 mode more or less has a huge luck factor to it, in that that's the part where I kind of take a bit of a disliking to 420 mode. Now, that's just more or less my personal thing, and I mean, it could be something different. Maybe somebody, like, loves the thrill of the luck of the draw, per se, because you could have a 420 mode and be able to keep Freddy and Foxy at bay and just have to worry about Bonnie and Chica. Now, if you know how each animatronic is specifically coded to move, like I do, and technically speaking, even though I know how they're coded to move, I still suck ass at it. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you know how they're coded to move, then luck really has no influence on how the outcome is going to turn out. But I mean, let's say if you're somebody, I don't know, like let's say when the game first came out, nobody understood how the hell they were moving, because I mean, again, you see Bonnie jump from one end of the restaurant to the other end of the restaurant in one fell swoop, while Chica moves one room and Freddy just can't seem to go back to the show stage, and Foxy just decides to, oh yeah, I'm gonna charge at you. Yeah, people didn't know how exactly they were to move, so when it came to 420 mode and people were basically down to the wire, it was just a matter of luck, and that's kind of where I was like, I mean, I feel like skill should have been enough for me to beat 420 mode, and because, I mean, you could be the most dexterous and best multitasker, but luck could honestly just come back and bite you in the ass. And then there's that feeling of, well, how come even though I was doing so well, I failed, you know? It's like, I did to the best of my ability, and that wasn't enough. And that's kind of where I fall on that. I mean, granted, again, you're probably, the reason you're not seeing me do 420 mode, first off, my nerves can't handle it. Second off, I'm playing with a controller, and I gotta get used to the controls. I mean, seriously, I know for PC, the mouse does everything. You flick the mouse down to pull up the camera, you click on the different camera squares to change the cams, and then you flick the mouse down to put the camera back down. On Xbox, it's quite literally LB to put up and put down the camera, and you have to look to each side and press A to flash a light and B to close the door. If you really got to be dexterous with that, oh my god, that is it's something to get used to. So that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing me do 420 mode. In fact, my nerves in the fact that I did so many mistakes. I mean, literally, I ended up once getting killed by Bonnie because when I flashed the light, that sound spooked me. And I put the door down, and I put the door back up because I was spamming the hell out of B, and I ended up getting myself locked into Bonnie's jump scare because the door was disabled because he technically got in, and I died. So, I mean, if you're someone who's easily spooked and you're playing the Xbox version, I feel your pain. Don't worry. Nobody will make fun of you, I promise. As for PC players, you guys got it easy. Consider yourselves lucky. But yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, the game's still fun. I mean, I got Game Pass, so I got it for free. But on Xbox, I think it's like $2, $3, and I know on Steam, I think it's about $5 to get. Even more so if you want to get the other games, which are kind of interesting. I mean, they kind of follow the similar formula that the first game set. I mean, hey, if it wasn't exactly broke, don't fix it. But, yep, that's all the time I have for now. Five Nights at Freddy's is a good game overall. Scott Cawthon took a bunch of criticism and decided to run with it, and it, in my opinion, it did for the better. I mean, look how far the series has gone. From one point-and-click adventure game in 2014, the series is still running strong even through the worst of year 2020, and probably going into 2021 with how security breaches, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of Freddy's mug going down the line. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Furry Valley, for having me, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you all, and have a good night.